I have a question for you. Do you find it hard to raise capital on your real estate deals? The answer I'd imagine is, of course you do, man. Raising capital is hard as shit. It's challenging, but listen, it's so challenging because you're focusing on the challenges instead of the solutions to the challenges. What you're doing, what you're pursuing, it's hard work and it's worth every bit of that hard work. But today, I'm gonna show you things, systems, processes to make it so it's not so challenging. What's up, y'all? As a reminder, my name is Tyler Devereaux. I'm the CEO, managing partner of MF Capital Partners, an investment company, and then also the Multifamily Mindset, which is our education company. We've acquired nearly 4,000 doors. It's 3,500 something units, 400 million in assets. And more importantly to you is not only have I done it, I've helped a lot of other people do it. Our education company is designed to help other people do exactly what you're looking to do. So the things that I'm gonna walk you through, first off, I've done them. Second, I've taught other people about it and how to implement it. I'm going to tell you that if anytime throughout any of these videos you start to second guess or doubt yourself, like I don't think I can, or it seems a little bit too much, you absolutely can, and it is not too much. It is a lot though. That's what you're here learning. That's why we have an entire education company and mentorship program to walk people through the details. But you, my friend, can absolutely do it. And today is going to make it a little bit easier for you to consume. How you have the conversations, that's what we talked about last time. Today we're going to talk about marketing and lead gen. So how to actually market to make sure that you're not only just finding people, but people are finding you, and the importance of it and how to do it. Okay, because there's massively important reasons why you're going to be marketing and generating the leads that you do and creating the deal flow systems that I'm going to walk you through creating. If you're always out there trying to search and find, you're very limited with how much work you can really do. In today's world, every single person, no matter what you do, you're a brand. And you, my friend, are a brand. And where do you first promote that brand? Well, it's on the world of social media. So if you do not have social media accounts, well, get with it. And number two, let's create them. Number three, let's show you how to build, actually use them, and then monetize them. The importance of social media in the multifamily industry is massive, just like any industry. But I would say in the multifamily industry, specifically when it comes to raising capital, listen, man, you're building relationships. Multifamily as a whole is a relationship-based business. You're building relationships with brokers, you're building relationships with other team members, you're building relationships with your investors. Well, in today's world, where do we do that? We used to go grab coffee, have some people over to the house. We can still do those things. The beauty of what we have with social media is it allows you to broaden your horizon. Now I'm going to tell you one of the biggest mistakes that I made in the beginning in this business was not utilizing social media at all. It's one of the biggest mistakes that I made. And here's why it's so important, okay? Number one, once again, you're a brand. You need to recognize and understand that you are a brand. So everything that you're putting out there on social media, you're creating this brand. You're creating brand awareness of you. Who are you and what do you do and what do you stand for and how can you help other people? Number two, it's credibility. Now, I'll tell you right now that when I'm looking to invest with somebody, do any business with anybody, even when we're looking to hire a team member, one of the first things that I do is not just go to their LinkedIn, I'll go to other social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all these other areas. I'm going to see what do they have on there. If you don't have anything, that's a massive red flag for me, because if I don't see anything, that tells me you have something to hide. Now, if you have stuff, obviously, I want to know what stuff do you have. It shows a lot about your personality. Are you, man, somebody who actually has pride in what they do and who they are? Or are you somebody who's out there being an absolute asshole? Because there's too many of you out there, but none of you guys are watching this video. You guys dipped out way too quick. The ones that are still here watching, you guys are the cream of the crop. The key is to let people know what you do and that you are the cream of the crop. How do you do that? You simply document your life, man. There's some things that you learn okay, you get it, and there's other things that you learn and it resonates with you and it carries weight with you. Those are the things you share. But I also believe that allows you way too much leeway to try to judge which things to post or not to post. My advice in the very beginning, if you're in the beginning stages, post, put it out there, see what people engage with, see what trips people's trigger. It'll help you. Now there's other steps to this, okay? Because before you ever just start posting, you need to know who you're posting to. This is a mistake that I think way too many people make, myself included, was I was posting to the masses. I don't know how many people there are in the US, or in the world, but a lot of people in the world. You're not trying to target all those people. You're trying to target a specific niche of people who are gonna resonate with the message that you have and you're going to connect with them. Who's your niche? Okay, so number one, who are you posting to and who is that niche demographic? We call it an avatar. Your avatar is very important, man. Your avatar needs to be as specific as possible. Have you ever watched a piece of content from somebody? Maybe this somebody. And you're like, man, that dude's talking to me. It's because I am talking specifically to you because I know who you are, and I know who you are because I've defined who I'm talking to. That's why my content resonates with you specifically. You need to define your avatars. There's two ways you can define them, okay? You have what's called demographics and you have what are called psychographics. Now, demographics, that's somebody's age, that's maybe where they live, that is their race, their gender, their occupation. Those are your demographics. Your psychographics go deeper into the behaviors of those people. Where do they shop? What books do they read? What people do they follow? What are they passionate about? But the key is you want to make it a real person. So you choose and you answer these questions that define who it is. What's their name? How old are they? What is their occupation? What's their relationship status? What are they passionate about? What's their struggles? What are their problems? And what is the solution that you have to help with those problems? This video is an example. Well, you're watching this video if you're struggling to raise capital or gain traction with investors. The solution that I'm giving you is how to build relationships with your investors to gain traction and be worthy enough for them to invest with you. So step one is define who your avatar is and speak directly to that avatar. A name, a picture, everything, you put it together. Before I ever record any piece of content, any YouTube video, before any podcast, I read through the statement of who my avatar is. I read their story, who they are, what stage of life they're in, I remember who I'm talking to you, which is you, and how I can help you. How do you get a potential investor's attention from social media? Now, there's a couple things you need to define, right? We talk about who your avatar is. Hopefully you've taken some time to define who your avatar is. Now, once you've taken the time to define who your avatar is, you need to also understand what are they looking for? What's the end result that your investor is looking for? All these come into play with getting their attention. How do they structure their deals? What's their risk profile? Meaning, what is the deals that they typically invest in and what they're looking for? The end result, if you will, of what they're looking for. Once you know the end result of what they're looking for, now you speak to the problems that they would have to be able to get there. For example, how do you gain someone's interest? Two things. Number one, you have to use a hook, okay? In marketing, in advertising, in content creation, there's a thing called a hook, and a hook is exactly how it sounds. We are creatures that have very short attention spans. So what do we need to do? We need to create a hook to catch their attention so that it actually engages their interest, and then speak to and drill down on it. Now that hook is going to be something that catches them, a question, a statement, or something that's, once again, shocking. And then, if possible, in an ideal situation, it's a hook that catches their attention, a problem they may be facing, and a solution behind it. Then your body, the content that you're going to go into after that, that can be the more detailed side. But you have to remember a hook. If you don't have a hook, you won't have very many eyes on your content, man. They'll just scroll on by. Number two is then how do you gain their attention? You talk about what they need. What are their problems? Like your investors that you're targeting right now, what are their problems? Is it maybe stock market volatility? Maybe there's inflation. Maybe there's a recession going on. Maybe they have, fears about the recession, fears about the economy, fears about the future. Maybe they're on the slow road to retirement. Like, what are the problems that they're facing? And then how do you create a solution to help with their problems? See, most people will go out there and they will talk on social media or talk on YouTube or talk on any of these various platforms about them and what they do. But they're great at that, but they're horrible at explaining and helping people understand why what they do matters to them. Nobody cares about you. They care about what you can do for them. So your content needs to be around that. Same thing that you're experiencing here. I'm talking about very little about me, way more about what you can do to solve the problem that you have. And look at that, I have your attention. So you're brand new to the space. How do you get investors to listen to you if you've never done a deal? Step number one is, if you're going to be trustworthy, you have to be worthy of that trust. And I know this might seem like a basic step, but man, capital raising is a huge responsibility. People should be wary of you. People should be asking you the questions that they're going to ask you. Normal, it's natural. It's the cart before the horse. It's the egg before the chicken. I know that raising capital helps me do a deal, but I haven't done a deal, so I can't raise capital. That's the narrative. The key though, step one, is to backtrack out of the business that you're focusing on and focusing on your biggest business, which is you. Once again, you're the brand. How you live your life is the credibility. How are you living your life? Do you have a set of values that you live by? What are you doing for personal growth? What's interesting is if you start to dial these things in, your mental, your physical, your spiritual, your intellectual, when you start to dial those things in and set a code of values that you live to and you actually live to those, very few people are going to ask you, okay, so how many deals have you done? They're still going to ask you that, but they're not asking you that in a way of discrediting you or making it seem like you're not valuable. What they're doing is they want to know what your track record is. But you have to understand, for them to even get to that point, you have to be a credible person to take care of you. You are your greatest asset. You are the most important thing to focus on. Once you take care of you, which is an ongoing process, obviously, you set that aside, and you have to be, you actually have to be self-aware. Don't just tell people me that they're focused on personal growth. I'll ask them, what are they doing to get to focus on their personal growth? And if they can't speak specifically to it, they're not doing it. So be open to understand that you got to do more. And I know that might seem like a basic step, but that is the foundational step that all these other things don't matter if you don't do that. Number two is the same thing that we talked about earlier, which is talking to their needs. Okay, so you're brand new, you focus way more on them and a lot less on you. When we're new at anything, a lot of the times what we start to do is we start to focus on all the things that we don't know or that we don't have, and we magnify those. My advice to you would be, instead of magnifying that, magnify your intention. What is your intention with your investors? Are you clear on what that is? Let me tell you, my intention varies depending on the investor that I have, meaning I get very, very granular with it. But as a basic understanding, I want to help my investors put their money to work so that they no longer have to work so hard for their money. So they can spend time with their family, go on vacations, have financial freedom. That's what I want my investors to experience. That's my intention going in to any call or any conversation I have with an investor. And I do that by actually knowing what their problems and concerns are. My intention is to help them. Whether that's on my deal, that'd be awesome. Maybe I'm not the right fit for them. That's okay too. I'm gonna refer them elsewhere. People will feel your intention far more than they hear what you say. And I'm telling you that there's been lots of people who have raised money, and I'm telling you that if I can do it, or they can do it, well, you can absolutely do it, you badass motherfucker. Of course you can. Of course you freaking can. But in order for you to do that, you have to believe you can do it. The next is what is going to be your voice and your central message. And then your voice and central message are critical in anything you do marketing-wise. Number one, it's going to give you brand recognition. When you have a consistent message, a consistent thing that you talk about and ways you talk about it, well, that brings brand recognition. You need to know what it is that you actually talk about. What different buckets do you have? I call them buckets. So my buckets is an example. Multifamily real estate, obviously, which comes into raising capital, sales, family. I love my family. I'm very passionate about family. I believe that that is where, it's where happiness is found. So how do you balance those types of things? Mindset topics that I talk about that I'm very passionate about. My religion, I'm very much okay to talk about. Education, mentorship, those are my buckets, okay? Go through my feed and you'll see that that is what I talk about. So that is my brand recognition. So your voice and your central message, it's important for a number of reasons. Number one, once again, is your brand recognition. It helps build trust. And that's number two, is trust. See, because when you have a consistent message, then you have trust. The individuals who are following you and listening to you, when they know what to expect from you, they trust you. It's also going to help you impact. This is the whole reason that you should be creating content, by the way. If you don't want to create an impact and make a difference for those who will be consuming your content, you should not create content or do a business. That's what business is about, is creating an impact. The way that your voice and your central message, it allows you to connect with and resonate with the people that you're talking to be able to impact them. It goes very much in line with the avatar conversation that we talked about earlier. You need to know who you're talking to, what their frame of mind is, and how you're going to help that person, impact that person. That allows you to connect with that person. There is nothing that is a bigger compliment to me than somebody coming up to me at one of my events or whenever I see them and saying, man, your video, I felt like you were talking right to me. That's the whole goal anytime I do a video. Why? Because I want to impact you. And then the other one, man, is just clarity. You got to get very clear, man. That clarity will help you, but man, it will also help those who listen to you. Biggest hint that I'll give you is this, man. You want to be unique. When I first heard that you want to be unique, I'm like, okay, well, what can I do to be unique? Be uniquely you, man. You are uniquely positioned to help the person that you once were. Who were you? Who are you? Be you, man. You are your greatest resource. You are your greatest tool. That's the biggest mistake I think people make, is that they are not comfortable enough to be them. You'll hear me talk about God. You'll hear me drop an MFer the next sentence. I'm comfortable with who I am, which is a Christian, faithful, spiritual person who has a horrible language. I cuss. And guess what? I'm okay with it, because it's uniquely me. Be you, be uniquely you. That's how you're gonna impact. That's how people will want to, once again, be associated with you, especially when it comes to investing their hard-earned money with you. All right, so think about what we've talked about. We've talked about dialing in your avatar so that you know who you're talking to. We've talked about how you gain their interest. How do you catch their attention on social media? We've talked about how you gain trust with them. We've talked about your brand recognition, your voice, your message. Now, let's say that you've done those steps, you've put out a beautiful piece of content, and somebody finally starts to engage with that content. You have a lead. What do you do with that lead? Number one, it's important for you to recognize and understand what a lead is and what a lead is not. What a lead is not is a social media follower or somebody who lightly sees some of your YouTube videos every now and then. You know what a lead is? Somebody who's given you their information. They've taken some sort of an action that shows that they're interested. Not just curious, but actually committed to doing something. Action is a rarity. Your job is to inspire action in others. See, your content is going to be educational for the most part. That's usually what happens. But you need to have a mix of educational content, value, and then also the ask. A lot of people put out lots of value and they don't ask. And that ask is simple. That ask is, take this step, download this thing, do this, put in your contact information here. That's your lead. So have you thought through what that is? For example, think about one of the first things that I did and that I teased in the very beginning of this video. I told you we have a mentorship program. We have an educational program. I've done the business. I continue to do the business and help other people do the business. That is also considered a hook or an open loop. Now I'm telling you that at the description, you can click a link, or maybe even on the video, if my video guys can do something right here somewhere, you can click a link and you can fill out your information. You can come attend one of my live events to see if you would like to learn more and be part of the mentorship program. And I would love you to be a part of it. When you do that, if you were to click this link, here's what would happen. You would fill out your information. I'm going to have follow-up emails, texts, things sent your way so that you're continuing to get more, better information, more qualified information, value that's then going to lead you to, once again, what you're looking for, which is how to learn this at a far deeper level. That's what you need to do. You need to think through who the lead is, how you're going to capture it, and then what you're going to provide with them. And man, that's the next series of this video. The next series of this video is, once you have the lead, how do you nurture that lead so they actually turn into a customer, somebody that you're truly providing value to on a transactional basis. The other side of this coin of what do you do once you get the lead, or how do you get the lead? I want to help you understand that your content, once again, should be mainly educational. So what you're going to do, you're going to talk to them about their needs, their concerns, what they're going through, solutions. You also need to drip in some ass, not some ass, okay? Unless that's your content, I don't know. Drip in and ask. But one thing that I learned from Alex Hormozi, if you haven't read any of his books, you should read his books. This is his new one, which is $100 million leads. He also has $100 million offers. One of the things that I learned from Alex is he said, the longer that you delay the ask, the bigger the ask can be. You're asking for a big ask. You're asking people to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into a deal. In order for them to feel confident with you, you shouldn't be asking them and blasting them with an ask right out the gates. You need to be blasting them with value, with content, with education, with knowledge. And then the longer you delay that ask, the bigger the ask can be. So don't be so needy, but also understand that you need to ask. Your job to provide the ask. Their job is to say yes or no. All right, my friends, there you go. That is your marketing lead gen topic, and I hope that you pulled some value from this. I know you pulled some value from this. So do all those things that you know you're supposed to do. If you found value from this, my ask to you is maybe you click the link, but my real ask is share it. I love to make an impact. I told you that that is what I'm here for. I want to help you do what you do, and man, share the knowledge that I have. And the biggest compliment that you can give me is to tell me that I was talking right to you in the video. Second one is to go share it with other people that I can talk right to them as well. So thank you for following along and subscribing and being here. Also, make sure you stick around for part 3, where I walk you through this next phase, which is how to actually nurture that lead. so once again, they can turn into an engaged buyer on your end. Hey, as always, live always with low op. Peace.